Pomegranate plant can be propagated by stem cuttings, air layerings, and by tissue culture methods. Stem cutting method is not very successful in India, and hence it is not in use. Tissue culture plants have become popular in recent years. One can produce disease-free plants on a large scale in this method. Each TC plant costs around INR 45 now. However, these plants do not have any resistance against major bacterial and fungal diseases. It may get infested in the field after planting. The most common method of multiplication of pomegranate plant is air layering. Roots are induced on the stem on the mother plant itself. Select the plant of required variety with satisfactory yield for last 2 to 3 years. The plant and the whole garden should be free from bacterial blight and fungal wilt diseases. Select a twig of pencil thickness for air layering. Cut off side growths and spines on the stem. Put 2 cuts on the bark of the stem at 1 inch distance. Remove the ring of the bark and scrape the green cell layer on the white stem. Apply rooting hormone IBA at 1000 ppm concentration. Induces more roots. Some farmers put commercial hormone solution to the rooting media itself. Sphagnum moss, coconut coir pith, or sawdust can be used as rooting medium. Soak the media and squeeze it to drain excess water. Stem may rot instead of producing roots with excess water. Put handful of the soaked medium in a transparent smooth plastic sheet. Put it around the cut portion of the stem like this and tie with a gunny thread. Tying tightly will retain moisture in the layer till its roots well. Farmers producing layers on a large number put layers at 6 inch distance all along the length of the twig. This plant can accommodate around 200 to 300 layers. Rainy season between July and October is the best time for layering. It produces sufficient roots in 25 to 30 days. The roots are visible through the plastic. The success rate is around 80%. Separate the layer from the mother plant at 45 days when the roots mature and turn to brown color. Cut off the leaves and tender growth on the stem of the layer plant. Remove the plastic sheet and plant the layer in a poly bag filled with potting mixture of soil, sand and manure. Keep the plant in a poly house or under shade. Water the plant regularly and give more attention till it sprouts well. It gets ready for planting in the main field in 3 months. Major disease of pomegranates spread easily to new areas through these layer plants. Hence, strictly avoid layering in disease-infested gardens. Pomegranate can be planted in any season with assured irrigation. But June-July is the best season for fresh planting. Farmers targeting very high yield are adapting high-density planting with 6 into 8 feet or even 6 into 6 feet spacing. But the canopies of the plants overlap within 2 years and become difficult to manage. High-density plantations get infested with bacterial blight and fungal wilt very easily. Hence, the best recommended spacing is 15 feet from row to row and 10 feet from plant to plant, or 12 into 12 feet. These spacing accommodates around 300 plants per acre. Let the rows be in north-south direction in length to avoid shading each other. Dig 2 cubic feet pit and expose it to the sun for 1 month. Dust the pit with 100 grams of bleaching powder. Then fill the pit with sand, fertile clay soil and topsoil, 1 part each. Add 10 kilograms of cow dung manure, 1 kilogram of vermicompost, 1 kilogram of neem cake and 500 grams of superphosphate to each pit. Adding 25 grams each of PSP, trichodoma, and other biocontrol microorganisms is also recommended. Then, take up shallow planting. Press the soil around the plant gently. Water the plant regularly and take enough care till it puts out new growth. Staking may also be given. Trench system of planting is practiced recently by many farmers to save labor cost on digging pits. First, the land is plowed thoroughly and deeply. Then shallow trenches are made by tractor-driven implement at the required spacing. These trenches are 12 feet apart. Planting is done in these trenches at 12 feet distance after installing drip irrigation system. Most of the farmers put manures after 1 month instead of at the time of planting. It is better to provide sufficient quantity of cow dung manure, vermicompost, neem cake, and other organic inputs. It ensures good growth and enhances disease resistance of the plant. Put recommended quantity of balanced chemical fertilizers as well. For a first-year plant, put 10 kilograms of farmyard manure, 100 grams of nitrogen, 150 grams of phosphorus, and 50 grams of potash. For a second-year plant, 20 kilograms of farmyard manure, 200 grams of nitrogen, 100 grams of each of phosphorus and potash are recommended. Later on, follow recommended schedule as the plants are put for flowering. Take up foliar spray if the deficiency symptoms of micronutrients are seen. Spraying cow urine, vermi wash, and panchagavya produce good results.